I think when people look at getting jobs as a whole, they kind of look at it as like a short-term solution, but like look at it as a long-term solution. Like where does it lead you, right? So like say for
Right.
example, you want to build this digital marketing advisory. It's like, okay, well, what skills or what environment can I put myself in a remote job setting that gets me paid, but also gives me skills and learning that I can then take into the business that I'm building too. So it's like
This
a
is
bit
exactly
of
it.
both.
Yep.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
Most companies will train you on everything. So like a lot of the time I just tell people it's like you don't actually need too much experience or skill sets. You just need to kind of like bribe or sell your way into the company and then everything
yeah,
will be taught to you. You know, like they have their
right.
SOPs, their processes, their frameworks that you follow, and it's just about following instructions, you know? And so like once you're in, you're good. I think it's just a matter of like kind of positioning yourself and selling yourself in that front part of the process to really
Exactly.
get your foot in the door, I would say.
Yep. Because, we were talking the other day and I'm like, well, it's not imposter syndrome that's my problem.
Yeah,
Because it's like, I've got all this experience. I have like too
exactly.
much experience in some
Yeah.
cases, you know
You're
what I'm saying?
overqualified.
I'm overqualified for like almost everything. And
I think you're in a good position, you know. You've got all this experience behind you. You're overqualified for most roles. So I think it's just now a matter of putting your best foot forward and like sending applications, you know, getting yourself out there, getting some opportunities on the board. I would just, yeah, try and pick like the one job title that's going to add the most value to what you're doing long term, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah,
like with the digital
yeah.
marketing advisory business you're starting, it's like, okay, what one remote job is going to add the most value in terms of learning that I'm going to be able to transfer over to the business as well. So,
Right.
yeah, I'd be thinking something around marketing, sales, like something around that field probably makes the most sense if that's kind of like what you're
Right.
going to be doing.
Right.
So, and what you'll find as well is as you get these jobs, you'll realize that it's no different to having a client, right? Like, yes, you
Right.
might have like set hours, oh, you got to work these times, whatever, but it's
Hmm.
it's no different to a client. There's a clear set of inputs, clear set of outputs
Hmm.
that you expect and expectations, and then using that information, you can kind of just like you said, you can outsource the work really easily. Like if you have a list of contractors you already know who are good at these skills and you
Oh
find
yeah.
jobs that match those skills, like you can apply and even use their experience on your resume, right? And that way you can
Hmm.
kind of get your foot in the door with these
I
kind
had
of
I had
jobs.
thought about that because
And I was
yeah.
talking to someone yesterday actually about like how you can frame and position the virtual assistant when you're actually going into these interviews, right? And I think
Okay.
it makes so much sense. Like I've had a really big think about this because in some jobs I've like not told my employers about my virtual assistants and they've kind of
Hmm.
just done the work in the background. But in
Right.
other jobs I've actually had, you know, cases where I've told my boss about my virtual assistants and they've actually paid for them sometimes. So I think in the interviews it makes sense, like the more I think about it, the more it makes sense to actually position it in the interview and be like, yeah, well, hey, if you're gonna hire me, you're hiring also a team of three people that I have behind me. They're just my assistants. They help me smash things out. And it's like makes me more
Yeah.
productive, makes me the best worker. So like having that as part of the interview, I think is a massive value add. Not only is it gonna make your life a whole lot easier because you do less
Oh
work
gosh,
in the
yeah.
job, but also to the company, you look super valuable because it's like, well, hey, you're bringing a team of three with you that the company doesn't have to pay for. So it's like
Right.
it
That's
adds
true.
massive value.